Okay, I think we can start now, and then hopefully others will join us as we continue the session. So good morning, everyone. Daniel will be our moderator for this financial literacy series. Daniel, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Sean, for that. I'm sure you're all good. Thanks for joining in. My name is Daniel Abe. I'm the NAPI YP Financial Secretary. I honor of serving as your moderator for today's non-technical series, today's financial literacy series, on behalf of NAPI to kick off this transformative series that reflects our commitment not just only to career, but also to financial well-being of our members. So this is more than a webinar, this is more than a seminar, it's a beginning of a movement, and I assure you this won't be the only financial literacy series we're going to be having for this year. I'm sure we can. Before we go into the business of the day, I'm just going to put you through some safety brief. As we all know, our theme for today is oil money and the digital age, leveraging digital wealth tools, and we are doing this in support of Zcrest. Okay, so very quickly, let me just share. This webinar is recorded. Can we all see my screen, please? Can we all view my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in NAPI Young Professionals logo.
I just want to confirm. Okay, I'm actually at the safety brief slide, so that's why I want us to confirm if we are together we're on the same slide. Maybe Teams is kind of slow, but
what I can see from here is slide. The NAPI Young Professionals logo.
Okay. But I left there quite a while, so.
You want to stop sharing and then start sharing again?
Okay, let me do that. Okay, how about now? Can you see the screen?
Yet.
Okay.
It seems to be coming
Thank
up.
you very much.
Not yet.
Okay.
It's just blank. It's just a blank screen. White. Maybe it's trying to pick up. It's still not showing.
I think I'll need to share it again. I don't know why it's not sharing.
Looks like it's trying to come up.
I think it should be the network because it's already showing from my end on my my interface. I think it's the network.
Okay.
Abioye, if you can share your screen, so I just use your screen if that's possible. I don't know why it's not showing from my end. So to save time. Okay. Can you use the slide I sent to you? Okay. Thank you very much, Abioye. So please, let's go to the safety brief. So very quickly, I will just share the safety brief for us, then I introduce our guests and we go into the session proper. Okay, so this webinar is recorded. Please avoid sharing any personal or sensitive information in the chat box. Kindly turn off your video except you're asked to turn on your video, and kindly mute yourself except you're asked to unmute yourself. All participants are muted upon entry. Kindly remain muted unless called upon to speak to reduce background noise. Chat etiquette: kindly use the chat function respectfully, and for relevant questions or comments, harassment, offense language, or spam will not be tolerated and may result in removal from the session. Technical safety: please do not click on only at the host or designated speakers. Environment awareness: please be aware of your surroundings. Choose a quiet space for full concentration. This is a webinar that's maximum 1 hour, 30 minutes, or 2 hours we are done. So try your possible best to avoid any form of distraction and let others around you, if you are not staying alone, let others around you know that you are in a session. And if you are joining with a headphone or a earpiece, keep your headphone volume at a moderate level to protect your hearing. Thank you very much. I'm just going to be introducing our guest speaker today, sharing a bio, and we start proper. Please, the next slide. Okay, Judith is an accomplished regional head and wealth manager with over 15 years of progressive experience in the financial services industry, specializing in affluent banking, wealth management, and client relationship development. Currently leading strategic regional operations at Zcrest Wealth. She brings a proven track record in driving business growth, deepening high net worth client relationships, and managing multiple spans prominent financial institutions, including Zcrest Wealth, Stanbic IBTC Bank, and Diamond Bank PLC, where she has consistently delivered exceptional results in portfolio management, client acquisition, team leadership, and operational efficiency. Judith is adept at navigating complex financial markets, offering bespoke investment solutions, and executing data-driven strategies that align with corporate growth objectives. With an MBA from Lagos Business School and a background in urban and regional planning, she combines strategic vision with operational expertise, recognized for leadership, financial insights, and customer-centric service. Her core competencies include wealth and relationship management, high net worth individual HNI sales, strategic business development, financial and market analysis, portfolio management, regulatory compliance, cross-functional team leadership, client acquisition and retention, risk mitigation, and process optimization. Judith continues to bring measurable value through innovative approaches and resilient stakeholder engagement. Nigerian Association of Petroleum Exploration Young Professionals, please can we welcome Judith Okpara as she takes over. You're welcome, ma.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that introduction. I just do wish that the entirety of the team was introduced that way, because I have a team of experts in our organization who are going to be taking us through a series of presentation just to ensure that we cover the full scope of why we're here. The introductions have already been done. My name is Judith Okpara, and I'm so excited to be here. So excited to be in your midst. I'm just going to share my screen now, and then I'll take you through what it is that we have in store for you today. We hope that it's going to be an exciting and a very great learning session for everyone present. So just give me a second whilst I share my screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Please confirm that you can see my screen. You can just give me thumbs up if you can. Thank you. Right. So, what we're going to be covering is oil money in the digital age, and we're going to be speaking on how you can leverage digital wealth tools. And we kind of coined it from oil money to smart money, because we know that, we're talking to young professionals that are working in the oil and gas space. So we know that what you earn is called oil money. But we what we do is how to we enlighten you on how to make your money work for you. So that's why we've coined it oil money to smart money. And so I'm going to be doing the introductory part of the presentation in terms of speaking to who we are and what we do at Zecrest Wealth. My colleague, who is also present, Samuel Oladibaye, he's our oil and gas analyst. He works with us at Zecrest Wealth under the portfolio research and portfolio management team. He's going to be speaking to you on what is happening currently in oil and gas space, how you can also harness the activities in the macro environment, and leverage the advantages that are inherent in the capital market, and basically how you can take advantage of all that is happening right now. And we're going to now have a break time where my colleague Uchi would be helping us. Well, we're going to have a tournament, a quiz session, but we call it our tournament. It's a Zecrest tournament where we have curated a tournament session for everyone who's going to be participating, everyone who is in attendance, for everyone on that NAPE. And we're going to have just about 10 questions, basic finance questions, just to test your knowledge in what's happening in finance. And we have 3 top winners and then consolation prizes to everyone who's going to be participating. So I'd like to encourage you, if you don't mind, whilst the presentation is ongoing, we have an app, which is one of our wealth tools, which is why we've coined it Leveraging Digital Wealth Tools. And on our app, we have most of all of the products that we're going to be speaking to. But the tournament is going to be happening on the app. So if you don't mind, could you just go to your Play Store or Apple Store and just look for Zecrest Wealth and download the app. When my colleague Kishik comes on board, he will put you through on how we can access the tournament and then do the quiz session. And after that, we're going to now have my colleague Favor Oladapo, who's going to be taking us through our offerings in Zecrest Wealth, the wealth instruments and tools that you can use to convert your own money to smart money that works for you. I also have 2 of my other colleagues present, Osave Moridion and Parmidat Lawal. They will be in the chats responding to questions as they come up. So if you have any questions whilst the presentation is ongoing, the colleagues will be responding. And for the ones that are the questions you're going to be asking to the speakers or to all of us who are going to be speaking, they will take them down. And then when it's time for Q&A, we'll then break down the questions and answer during the Q&A session. So that being said, I'd like to start. I'm going to introduce who we are at Zecrest. We are also known as Zecrest Investment Managers, and we are a wholly owned subsidiary of the Zecrest Group. Now, the Zecrest Investment Managers is licensed by the Security and Exchange Commission. That's the apex institution for capital market operators. So just like you have CBN as the apex bank for all of the financial and commercial banks in Nigeria, the SEC is for any business that is working in the capital market space. And so we as Zecrest Wealth, for short, we're also popularly known as Zecrest Wealth, but by registration, we're known as Zecrest Investment Managers. We're an asset management firm, and we are under the Zecrest Group. And as at 2004 September, we had an asset under management of in excess of 203 billion. Now, like I mentioned, Zecrest Wealth is a subsidiary of the Zecrest Group, and we have 4 other subsidiaries aside from Zecrest Wealth. We have Zecrest Capital. This is our proprietary investment outfit. We deal in debt and equity investments, as well as venture capital investments. We have Zvance. Zvance is one of our most popular subsidiaries because they are into consumer and payroll lending. They also have ventured into business solutions for the SME space. And then we have Zecrest Global Markets, our interdealer brokerage firm. They engage in government security sales, trading, state and corporate bonds, money market instruments, euro bonds, commercial papers, All of these things will be detailed in the course of the presentation, but these are the subsidiaries of Zecres Group. Zecres Wealth, like I've introduced, that's what we do. And our most recent subsidiary, which we acquired last year, is Zecres Securities, where you can do equities and stock trading. We also have research solutions for your equity investments, institutional sales and corporate sales, as well as investment banking solutions. So these are all that we do at Zecres Group, and we are a one-stop financial service institution, because what we've done is that we want to be able to be your point of contact for all of your financial service needs. Later in the course of the year, we're looking to add on more subsidiaries so that we can consolidate the status of our one-stop shop. And this is a snapshot of Zecres Group at a glance. At a glance, I had mentioned earlier that we have funds under management in excess of 203 billion. We are currently rated A3 by GCR and triple B minus by Global Credit Ratings. We have over 10 years of market excellence, and our shareholders funds are in about 46 billion. Now, what we have, as I said, is tailor-made financial service solutions that are unique to your financial and capital markets needs. Our interdealer brokerage firm that I introduced earlier has been a 4-time consecutive awardee from the FMDQ as the best brokerage firm in Nigeria. We've also been recognized by the Financial Times in 2002 as the fastest growing financial services institution in Africa. By the Global Business Outlook, we were winners in 2022 as the best proprietary investment firm in Nigeria, and International Business Magazine also gave us a win in 2020 as the best financial management firm in Nigeria. International Business Magazine also did give us in 2020 as the leading proprietary investment firm in Nigeria. And like I mentioned, we are licensed by SEC as asset managers. We're an asset and portfolio management institution. We're also licensed by SEC as interdealer brokers. That's our Zecres Global Market, and licensed by CBN as a consumer finance company, that is for ZVATs. So like I mentioned, we are your one-stop shop. And based off on our number of years in the business, in the financial service space, we're still also in the business of acquiring more financial investments solutions to be able to suit all of your investment and financial needs. And so what we are here to do is that we've realized that a lot of people are not so in tune with what's happening in the financial and capital market space. Hello, could you mute, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Thank you. So what we're doing is that we've realized that people are not so in tune with or knowledgeable on what's happening in the capital market or financial space. And so we've made it our mandate to be able to offer financial literacy to everyone and anyone, both individuals, institutions, and corporates, so that everyone can take advantage of the opportunities that are inherent. And so, which is why we're here. We've curated a long list of activities that we can do in the space of the 1 hour that we have been giving. These are our board of directors. These are our GMD is Adida Amzat. He's the one who started off the business some over 10 plus years ago. And most of the other people are board chairman for Zecres Global Markets, board chairman for Zecres Wealth, and non-executive directors and ED Financial Strategy. This is the management team for Zecres Wealth. Our GMD Adida Amzat, our acting managing director Renel Siemi, our executive director Abbas Akintoya, and our head research and portfolio management Luke Ofojibe. Yes, so I had mentioned most of the awards that we've been giving, and this slide just curates all of that in one glance. We also did win in 2019 BAFI Award for Diversified Financial Services Group of the Year by Business Day, and we were also given a win by International Business Magazine as the best financial management firm in Nigeria. So, having done the introduction, I'm going to be yielding to my colleague Samuel, who is going to now take us through the other part of the presentation. If you don't mind, just give me a sec. I'd like to mute and then
Okay, sorry. Who is supposed to speak?
I'm supposed to speak. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much, Judith, for the introduction. And it's a pleasure to be here speaking on investing in the digital age and basically how to navigate your investments in the digital age. I will quickly share a slide and I'll briefly just talk about the markets, talk about how you can sort of link that to your day-to-day activities in the oil and gas sector and the steps to take when navigating the current market environments. And also talk about what we're seeing in the market, how I think we should navigate that from an investment standpoint, and we'll proceed from there. Please confirm you can see my screen before I proceed.
Yes, we can. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So what's the drill plan for today? We're going to cover market performance, like I talked about. We're going to explore the financial risks of the investor. So that's the everyday investor, whether it be an asset manager or an individual investor, or even a pension fund investor. What are the financial risks that are involved with the investment decisions that you make every day? Talk about investing in the digital age, because as we know, we're in the digital age, we're literally seeing the advent of AI. And pretty much if you were talking 50, 60 years ago, this could only have been a dream, or even just thinking about sending people to the moon. And we've come so far in terms of democratizing access to these investments and how to actually grow your wealth. Then we have tools, tips, and action plan, which we will also cover as to how you can take actionable steps to achieving that goal, whether it's expanding your money, growing your money, or preserving your money. Okay. So investing is no longer optional, it is survival. What do I mean by that? Now, we've come from a period of time whereby you see things like okay, someone said she can't see the presentation. Can anyone confirm if
We can see the
You can see
presentation.
your slide.
You can
Oh,
see your
okay.
slides.
Okay, thank you. So investing is no longer optional, it is survival. What do I mean by that? We've come from a period of time where we're seeing high inflation rates globally, right? Nigeria's inflation peaked at 34%. In the US, we saw a peak at 9.11%. This was a global thing that we've seen. And we see this happen over time. And I'm sure we can all admit that whilst, yes, our wages grow, that's our earnings grow, but it typically does not grow as fast as inflation, right? And you want to preserve your money at the very least. Because if you think about anything invested or anything money related, we all know we probably know the saying, the value of money tomorrow is not the same value, it's not the same as the value of money today. So a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. 100,000 naira today is not going to be 100,000 naira even tomorrow, even the next second. Because as time is going, your money is losing value. We know what 100,000 naira could have bought a few years ago. We know what 100,000 naira can buy now. So it is survival. At least you want to make sure that financially you are moving forward, right? So that you can have that independence, you can have that, you can be liberal to do what you want to do, explore what you want to explore, and live your life to the fullest. So it is no longer optional. I think we should, as a whole, right, especially those of us that are in the younger generation, treat it as something that is essential. So it's not optional, it's not something that you decide to do, it's something that you should actually do to at least make sure that you are progressing financially. Now, core principles of investing, like I alluded to, start early, because we know that compounding takes time. I'll give you a fun personal story. So I started investing personally in 2020, and I recall recently just running some numbers, and I was like, okay, that's investing in stocks and mutual funds. And I ran the numbers recently, and I was like, okay, by this so and so year, how much would I have made in this particular amount of time? Needless to say, I was more than pleased. The figure more than wowed me. And this is something that I'm pretty sure if in 2020 I was like 30, or if I was 40, or if I was 41, or if I was even 20 something, 29, or thereby saying, I would not have had that amount of wealth, or I would not have had that amount of wealth in my projections to say that, okay, this is how much I would make over time. Compounding is a very powerful tool. Some people call it the eighth wonder of the world. You can take some time, run your analysis, or you can even consult. If you don't want to run the numbers, you ask GPT, I'm this age. If I start investing 10, 25 30% of my salary every month and I get this average return every year, what would I get in 5, 10, 15 years? You will be surprised. You'll be surprised. Just give it the parameters, your age, how much you earn and the likes. You would be honestly surprised. Be consistent, automate your savings. So there's this thing called dollar cost averaging. There's this thing called consistency. Now, if you want to approach the financial markets from a dollar cost averaging perspective, what it essentially means is that you put in a certain amount of money every month or periodically. Sorry, someone sharing. I think my slide has gone off. Can anyone still see my screen? Or
No, I think you need to reshare your screen, your slide.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Yes, those reshare.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry now.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, so yes, so consistency is key, and dollar cost averaging. I bring dollar cost averaging to know because I know it's a very popular investment strategy that a lot of investors use. And what it essentially means is that you put in a certain amount of money over time to average your investments into a particular stock or a particular instrument and make sure that you've invested over a period of time and you're essentially taking advantage of the rise in the value of that asset that you purchased. Now, that requires being consistent. So it's not something that you say, I will invest money today and I will stop. Because remember, we talked about preserving your wealth. Your wealth is not just made in one day. Your wealth is made over time. So be consistent, average out that wealth, consistently put it in. As your wealth grows, your investment should grow in tandem. And that is a very core principle of investing because you want to make sure that you're maximizing the most that you can get out of the wealth that you have. Now diversify. This is pretty much self-explanatory, local and global. You want to make sure that your investments are protected and hedged. So the most common saying that you probably heard me say today is don't pour your eggs in one basket. I'm sure we've all heard it somewhere else because one egg might be rotten, another egg might be broken, and another egg might just have its own issues, might be a defect. So you want to make sure that you're diversified. You have global and local exposure. What does that mean? If I'm bringing it to the Nigerian context, it's saying something like you have Nigerian stocks, you have US stocks, you have Nigerian bonds, you have dollar-denominated bonds, right? You want to just make sure that you are exposed to, because as we're talking about things like FX risk, it's like, okay, if I have some money in Naira and maybe I've lost some value there, but then again, I have some of my investments in dollars. So as much as I've lost some money in Naira, I've gained much more in dollars, right? If typically there's an allocation there, but just to give some context to it. Also giving the examples of stocks. Let's say I buy Apple and I buy Amazon. And as we know, I don't know if we know, but over the past couple of weeks, Apple hasn't done so well, but Amazon has done perfectly well. It's still a solid stock. You know, you're diversifying your investments, you're reducing your risk. And this is one of the risks that we said we're going to talk about in terms of financial risks and what's involved in the market, how you should actually navigate that. So diversify. Then invest for goals. This is very key. Now, a lot of people invest for vibes. And I say that because I think sometimes we've all been there. Maybe it's part of the growth story. You just put money somewhere, you're like, okay, I'm just putting money here. But you really don't have an end goal. Whether it is you don't know the price that this thing is valued as, that maybe if it rises up to this certain price, this is where you should sell, or this is where you should start looking to something. Or you are like, okay, I want to invest because I want to go to school I want to go for my MBA in 5 years. But that's not really a strategy. Because you're speculating, you don't even put that kind of money in the financial market. So have a strategy, know that, okay, this is what I want to play, and this is how I want to play. So is it that I am investing for wealth preservation? Because those little nuances, if as a portfolio manager now, if I see someone that is investing to grow their wealth, I would build a different portfolio from somebody that wants to preserve their wealth. Now, those are two different things. They sound similar, but they are two different things. And that's why portfolio creation and allocation is very important in this situation. Because for somebody that wants to grow their wealth, it's like, okay, you can take on some more assets, you can take on some more risk because you are willing to expand and take on more risk to get a certain amount of reward. But for somebody that wants to preserve their wealth, you would not really see me investing that person's money or a very significant chunk of that person's money in stocks. Why? Because yes, stocks are good, they're a very good option to grow your wealth, but to preserve your wealth, they are relatively more risky and volatile. So what I would do in that situation is purchase things like treasury bills and fixed income instruments that I know that are safer and they give a good rate of return, at least for now. There's some more tactical plays there, but just know what you want to do. And just once you decide on that, you decide on a time horizon, like, okay, I want to be invested over time, or I want to stay invested for 20 years or 10 years, or just till my generations and generations and generations and generations to come are tired of getting that money. Just have a set goal so that you can actually factor that into the investment decisions that you would want to make, or you would want your financial advisor to make. Then the most common scheme that I think I don't even need to dwell on, but it needs to be said and repeated: avoid Ponzi schemes. I should probably even stop there, because that's pretty much self-explanatory in itself. Due diligence matters. We've talked about how we have SEC license over and over again on this call, because it is very important. If you are not regulated by SEC, and you're an investment firm, SEC is Securities and Exchange Commission. They're essentially the EFCC, or the police body of our industry. They are the ones that vet whether we have the right documents, or making the right decisions, and we're actually authorized to play in the investment space in Nigeria. And if you don't have that, then what are you doing playing in the investment industry? That is if you are going to an asset manager now to take, or a financial advisor to take some investment decisions for you. Due diligence matters. It's not about having CAC documents. It's not about having this or that. If you go to SEC's website, there's a place that you can actually search for the actual licensed asset managers in this industry, and you don't see said company or said entity that is talking to you, or you're considering investing with. Because we hear about this every day, whether it's this one or that one. We hear about it every day, that this thing blew up, some people lost money. Avoid Ponzi schemes. SEC will not regulate any Ponzi scheme. It is as simple as that, so that you don't lose your wealth. Because yes, you might be making money in the early days, or the early months, or whatever, but over time it will eventually bust, as with every single Ponzi scheme that has ever set in place, because fundamentally the business model is not built to be sustainable, right? Someone always has to lose at the end of the day, and that is not the case with investing. Now, the next slide, I actually put this here to talk about the markets, because I've talked about investing, I've said all these high-level things, but I want to give also a current view of what the market has done. So this is a year-to-date review. You'll see 4 charts. There's 4 charts in particular on the slide that is currently being displayed. You have the slides of Nigeria's inflation and MPR, which is essentially the interest rate. That's called monetary policy rates. That's an interest rate in the economy. You have the size of our external reserves. You have the year-to-date performance of key equity markets like the S&P 500 that tracks the USA. NASDAQ is also an index that tracks the United stock markets in the US, but mostly tech heavy. The FTSE 100 tracks the UK stock market. Euro Stoxx 600 tracks the European markets as a whole. Nikkei 225 tracks Japan, and Shanghai Composite tracks China. Also, just to give some context, the Nigerian index is in here, but the Nigerian index, that's the Nigerian All Share Index, has also returned 6.6 as at yesterday, was roughly 6% year-to-date performance. Now, I've said all of these commodities, you are seeing softer oil prices, right? Oil prices are currently around $63 to $65 a barrel. You're seeing gold skyrocket to as high as $3,300 per metric ton. Natural gas hovering around $3.4 per metric ton, and US cocoa roughly around $11,000 per metric ton. And these are the performances that we've seen here today. But what does this actually mean, and how should you navigate this? Now, like I talked about, Nigeria's inflation, it has come down from its peak of 34% that we saw last year, but it's still pretty much high. We're seeing that 23.71%. Your interest rate is currently around 27.5%. Now, what that interest rate gives you idea or insight into, right? Just to give some context around it. If I see an investment, if I go to the CBN's website, I see that the CBN has set interest rates at 27.5%. Inflation is at 23.7%, right? Meaning that over the period of a year, the value of money has depreciated by 23.71%, meaning that the amount of money, because the amount of money that you need to spend to get the same amount of value has increased by 23.71%, meaning that you've lost value on money that you held before if you don't invest in by 23.71%. And interest rates are 27.5%, meaning that if I invest in a safe, so the interest rate of an economy, sorry, just to give some color into this, the interest rate of an economy gives you color into the risk-free, it's called a risk-free rate. What does that mean? It means the rates of return that you should be able to get if you were taking no risk. And what is considered as a no-risk investment in any economy? Treasury bills. Why? Because the government can print money. pretty much in any economy. If you go to the US, is the Federal Reserve's fund rate, and it's pretty much the same thing. US Treasuries are regarded as the safest. That's their own form of fixed income instruments like treasury bills and bonds. Are regarded as the safest form of investments. Why? Because the government can print money. Meaning that if I was to take any more risk, I should get more than that. But it should also give you an indication that if you see any return on any investment that is higher than this, it will cause you to question, how do they intend to make money? What do I mean by this? Stocks are riskier than treasury bills, right? Fine. Over the period of a year, let's look at last year. We saw the Nigerian equity market, for instance, return 37% to investors on average. So that's the all-share index, the index that tracks the Nigerian markets. It returned 37%. You had your interest rates roughly at around 27.5%. That's a realistic rate of return. If I hear somebody come and tell me that in a year's time, I'll get 50%, I'll ask the person, how do you want to do it? When the risk-free rate is at 27.5%, and any form of added risk would give me 50%. So how are you planning on making that 50%? Right? It gives you an idea, and this is just another way for you to flag out Ponzi schemes. Because you have to ask, if I give them this money, where are they going to put that money to find out 50%? Because if they're investing in the risk-free rates, they're getting 27.5%. If they're investing in stocks, they are getting 37%. So what are they investing in if it's not that they're just going to go and borrow money from Peter to pay Paul to give me these 50% investments, right? So I put this slide here to give context as to see how inflation and interest rates actually should navigate or should influence your decision making. Also in the context of inflation, so it's 3.71%. You would typically want to stay above that. Let's call it a water. So let's say 23.71% is here. Anywhere under water, you're not making money. Even if you are making money or your money is growing at 10%, you are not making money because inflation is at 23.71%. So you're not even growing as fast as you should be. Now, if you invest in the risk-free rate and you're able to get an asset that gives you 27.5% on an investment, that is good because you're staying above water. If you invest in stocks, you're able to stay above water. That's more than 23.71%. So this just gives some context as to how you can navigate investments, how you can influence, how you can make your investment decisions and try to stay ahead of stay ahead of water. Now, the bottom left has performance of the equity markets. The S&P 500 that tracks the US equity market hasn't, relatively because of what we've seen with tariff tensions and what Trump-led tariffs that we've seen has really impacted the equity markets, right? Because there's a lot of skepticism, and typically the markets don't do well on certain times because investors are apprehensive as a whole. So far, why this chart is here is that there are significant buying opportunities, right? Especially if you're a long-term investor, as a young long-term investor. The stock at the S&P 500 is not as expensive. Yes, we've seen the market rally or the index rally over the last 2 years. But so far year to date, we're almost halfway through the year and the market has only returned roughly 1%. That's a good opportunity for you to enter because it means that over time, there's still more significant upside for you to take advantage of, right? Same thing for the NASDAQ. Now, the other markets, the FTSE markets, the European markets have actually done well. But over the past couple of years, they actually have not done as well. Now, you're starting to see that surge or that bullish move. That bullish means positive moves on these names. Nikkei hasn't done well. The Shanghai Composite has also produced marginal returns. We all know what's going on. I assume we all know what's going on with oil prices and how that would eventually affect some of the oilers. But I don't expect oil prices to stay at this level for longer. I don't even believe OPEC expects oil prices to stay at this levels for longer. Yes, they're rolling out more crude oil barrels to the markets. But honestly, over time, their own strategy now is to gain market share because they too are optimistic that oil prices return to at least the minimum $70 per barrel benchmark, $70 per barrel handle on the Brent benchmark crude. And this is the long-term play. And I'm just putting this to show that at the time that we're seeing now, there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets, but it's a buyer's market, especially for the long-term investor. You can take advantage of some of these opportunities in the markets, and you can basically just, take advantage, grow your wealth, construct a portfolio at these times, especially average out your costs, especially now that prices are not that expensive and growing. I'll give you a personal story. Recently, during the Trump tariff tensions that we had that we were seeing, just when he had freshly imposed tariffs on the blanket tariffs on every other trading partner with the US. Meta platforms now. If you think about this, Meta platforms, that's the popular Zuckerberg, company that manages WhatsApp, Instagram, and also delves into Reality Labs. The stock went as low as $491 per share. Now, I had done my analysis. I knew that this stock should not be trading at this level. I had it at roughly 630. I had built out of my financial model, and I had it at 630 as a target price. And I was like, do I really expect tariffs to affect the social networking industry? Like, is tariffs really going to stop anybody from advertising on Instagram and stop this company from making revenue? No, because business has to continue. Yes, it's going to limit trade, but Meta is not a company that should be really exposed to that kind of adversity. So I was able to get in at 491, significant and good buying opportunity. And now the stock is up to $631 per share. That just gives some context as to how you can get in at good prices, right? And I'm still a long-term holder of Meta. It's not that I'm selling or anything. I'm just giving some context into how you can take advantage of the fact that the current macro environment or the current global macro environment and even domestic macro environment isn't looking that good, but there is a significant path to recovery there. So even if you look at the external reserves, our external reserves chart that's at the top right of your screen, you see that there's from like the month of April and onward, we're seeing growth in our external reserves, currently at $38 billion. Yes, it peaked at 40. We had some foreign FX obligations to pay off, and now we're seeing that growth again. So even Nigeria as a whole, we're seeing growth, even in terms of trade. We know what Dangote Refinery has done in terms of taking out some of those weight on the FX, demand for dollars on the FX, on our FX. We know what it has done in terms of enhancing our trade deficit and turning it into a trade surplus. And we know that as a whole, especially the Nigerian macro environment, is looking like it's on the up. So why not ride that tailwind? Another context, just to give, I want to make sure that I'm talking a lot with context, just to give us an idea of how we should be thinking in these markets. For the last 2 years, MTN, some of us, I'm sure, were using MTN to connect to this meeting. MTN has not done well because of FX weighing down on their bottom line. You have an FX loss of 500 billion naira on a company's income statement. That is heavy. And that's due to the unification of the FX window. We saw that a lot of these policies led to a very significant depreciation of the naira. Naira that was at 1,000 naira roughly at the end of 2023. What am I even saying? Now 199 naira at the end of 2023. Now at 1,600, right? That weighed on MTN's bottom line. But so far, we've seen MTN return to profitability. Why? Because some of those FX losses have been subdued. And to be realistic, we've seen more stability in terms of our FX rates so far, coming from when CBN started intervening in the market. So now you can't ride that tailwind. And as a result, we've seen MTN stock start to do well. MTN bottomed at 178 naira. I remember last year, 178 naira per share. As of today, MTN is at 270 naira per share. You can calculate the percentage increase on that. That's per share. So if you had bought, let's even say I invested, let's say 178,000. Let's say I put 178,000 naira. Now I've essentially made over 100k on that because now it's at 270, or roughly almost 100k on that because now it's at 270. I have other sectors like that, the consumer goods sector that hasn't really done well. Now it's on the up. So this is the time to actually take advantage of some of these opportunities. I know we might have some questions later on in the presentation, and obviously I'll still be here. Just put in the chat that we'll have to answer, whether it's for your own personal investing portfolio or just how to navigate the markets, or you have this idea or you've had this investment, thinking of how to think about this. What are the opportunities to look at? What sectors are you thinking of? And all in all, we would address that in this presentation. Well, I think we'll be heading on into our break now. And my colleague is going to take us through the quiz that we talked about, where you can win some nice prizes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samuel.
Thank you, Julius.
So I'd introduced my colleague earlier. His name is Kishi. Kishi will be handling the tournament session. I had advised and appealed that we download the Zecrest World app, where we're going to be having a tournament. So Kishi, if you don't mind, you can... Kishi, are you here now?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, everybody. My name is Felua Kishi. I work in the product marketing team here at Zecrest World. So earlier we mentioned that we should download the Zecrest World application. I would like, just based off reactions, for anybody that has downloaded the Zecrest World application. If you haven't, just react so we can give you some time as to create the tournament and all of that. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, okay. Now the reactions are confusing me a bit. Do I know if thumbs up if you've downloaded the application? I think love emoji if you've not. I think that's a good distinction between the both of them. All right, so I'm getting a lot of thumbs up. So that means some of us have downloaded the application. So I'm going to create the tournament for us, and let's just say we start the next 5 minutes. So let's.
Somebody's hand is up.
All right.
Somebody's hand up. I don't know whether you want to say something.
Yeah. So the person can go on with a question. If the person has any questions.
Jerry Micah, your hand is up.
Hi, Jerry.
Okay, I think maybe you can just proceed.
Are we sure? I don't want. Okay, it's Zanzad. Okay, yes. He said, "What is the application?" Let me put that into the chat box. I would rewrite that out. Give me a second. If you go to your Play Store or your App Store, all you need to do is search for Zcrest Wealth, and that's all. So you will just download the Zcrest Wealth application, just like someone mentioned. Some of us are using MTN and all of that. So we can say, let's say we'll start the tournament by 11. But for those of us that downloaded the application, so once you log in, you get to your home screen, just like what you can see on what I'm displaying. If you look to your top right corner, mine is about 2,943. Yours should be about 100 to 200 based on the actions you've taken. I'll also like to reiterate that we should please verify our email so that we can go on with the tournament. So once you click on that, it will take you to tournaments. There's no need to do what I am doing because I would create the tournament for us. But in case later on you want to play within your friends or later in the office or wherever you are, I just want to show us how we can create the tournament and we can find out who knows finance between you and your friends. So once you click on that, okay, yes, the tournament will start by 11, but I'm just showing us how to create a tournament. There's no need to create that. I'm just showing us how to create that in order to create the one that we will do today. So we click on quickfire quiz and you click on plus. So let's just say let's
Shipis, can you
this.
tell us what's the referral code? Because someone is asking in the chat section.
Can we just give me about 2 minutes? Yeah, while we get the referral code. That was a lapse in error on my part. So while we're sharing our screen and waiting for others to download the application, let me work on the referral code. But I'm sure the referral code will be like MAPE something. Just give me about a minute or two. For those of us that have downloaded the application, I would be able to work something out for that. So for those of us that haven't downloaded the application yet, let me get us a referral code. So
Amelia Thanos said there are questions in the chat section. If you could please respond to them.
All right,
Thank you.
fantastic. So the referral code is MAP22. So that's the short form for MAPE. So let me also attach that. For those that have registered the referral code, it's fine. Yes, it's MAP22.
MAP22. Okay.
For those of us that have downloaded without the referral code, we will work on that. We'll click on quickfire quiz. Then let's just say name this tournament MAPE Professionals. Oh, sorry about that.
She's NAPE, NAPE.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I always thought it was. Okay, so let's NAPE Professionals. To describe our tournament, let's say we are looking for the most financially literate young professional in the oil and gas sector. Okay, so I'm just going to create. You can select any icon for what you want to do. This is going to be a public tournament, so I think we're about, let's just say, about 61 people on this call. So let's just say 250 players. So you select the start date if you want to create a tournament of your own. Let's give, let's just say 11:02 should be a good time to start the tournament. Or in case, does anybody else, has everybody else downloaded the application, or do we have to wait a bit? Well, let's just say 5 minutes from now is cool. 11:02 should be great. Oh, sorry. Yes, then you click on an auto reminder, then click on continue. So now that I've created the tournament, I'll take us back to the home screen. So to join the tournament, all you have to do is to click on the coins bar up right there. All right, that's fine for anybody having network issues. The tournament will start in about 5 minutes. So that'll be fine for us. So you click on, mine is about 2,943. Yours should be between 100 to 200. So once you click on that, to take you to the game center, you click on tournaments, then click on quickfire quiz, then click on NAPI professionals. All you have to do is join the waitlist. I am already on the waitlist, but for you on your screen, you see join the waitlist, and then that's all, you join the waitlist, and then you would have, I can be displaying the countdown for the tournament right here on my screen. In case anybody's having any issues, please let me know. So in a short form, what Samuel and Judith have been explaining since. Okay, sorry, Ademola, you have a question. Your hand is up.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Please, I just joined, so I don't really know what's going on. Like, which application?
Oh, the name of the application is the Crossworth application. We are having a financial literacy tournament. It's just for us to find out the most financially literate NAPI professional. So that's more or less, and we're going to be rewarding everybody as a whole with Z coins, but our top 3 will go with prices. Does
So
that answer your
what's the app
question?
again? So I can download it.
The Z Crest Wealth application. I have put the application down in the chat box in order for us to see it. So it's on Apple or Play Store, anyone.
Okay.
Yes. Anybody else having any questions?
That's great. Okay, I'll do that now.
You have about a minute, 48 seconds to. Sorry?
We're a bit fast.
Okay, apologies for that. We have about a minute, 35 seconds for you to download the application and just verify your email, and then we join the waitlist. Let's see how many people have joined the waitlist. So yeah, we have about 10 people already on the waitlist. Anybody having any issues or anything?
Will you be able to extend the time the tournament is starting, Kishi? Because I think some people are still trying to catch.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is I would have to recreate another one, and the time will be different. So I think what we'll do is to ignore this current NAPI professional. So let me create another one by, let's say the tournament will start by 11:06. Is that fine for everybody? A reaction will suffice to know. So for all of us that have joined this current NAPI professionals, please let's just ignore it. Yes, okay, so I'll show us how to join the tournament. Let me create another one real quick and show us how to join the tournament. So for the most financially literate professional, all right, so let's say the tournament is going to start by, let's make it 11:08. That should be enough time. So I will just have a countdown for everybody else that haven't joined the tournament. So I'll show us a step-by-step process. For those of us that the tournament I created earlier would have started for, please ignore it. You can also play it to get you some coins. Those coins can be used for Child Deck, Uber, or Bolt. You can do that by the side, but for us to get the ones that we're going to use to award our top 3 with the prices, we would use this one. So once you log into the Zecrest Wealth application, you click on your coins bar. Yours should be between 100 to 200. After you verify your email, you click on that. It takes you to the game center. You click on tournaments. You click on quickfire
Can we
quiz.
confirm if people have downloaded and then verified emails so that they can
Yeah.
follow through as you're
So
going?
if you haven't, I think Adide Amola wants to speak. He unmuted his mic.
Yes, I just downloaded my own just now, so I'm just trying to open the app.
All right, that's no problem. So you use the referral code MAP22.
Okay.
While you're creating the tournament. So yeah, you have about 5 minutes left to join the tournament. So we don't. Yeah. So yeah, still download. Okay, that's fine. Boluwatife. 5 minutes is ample time enough. Anybody else having any issues or anything? The name of the app is the Zcrest Wealth application. Okay, Esther, your hand is up.
Yeah, I've downloaded it and I've opened my own. I've verified my email, but my coins is 0 up to 100.
0.
Yes.
Your coins bar just on the top right. Beside where mine is reading 2,943 on the screen. Yes, you
Yeah,
can join
it's
the tournament
0.
now. It's reading 0. Can you please sharing? The problem is, can I get your game center name, the nickname you put on your? Mine is just reading as Ifeoluwa Kishi, where it is under at Ifeoluwa Kishi. I'll just get your game center nickname since we're not allowed to share personal information. So you can just put that in the chat box. Sorry?
Okay. I'll put it in the chat box.
All right, that's fantastic. All right, but anybody else? So let me teach us how to. So where Esther, yours is currently reading 0. You just have to click on it to take you straight to the game center. You click on tournaments. You click on quick fire quiz, and then you see the tournament. The tournament is called the New Nappy Professionals. You click on it, and then you join the waitlist. That's all you have to do. You have to join the waitlist. My service is a bit slow. Okay, yeah, we have 8 people already on this one. So anybody else having any issues? I'm Esther. Thank you very much. I would find a solution to that. Anybody else? So all we have to do is to join the tournament. It's showing error with referral codes. The referral code is MAP22. That's when you are
signing up. Could you confirm if it's M or N?
MAP.
Man, Alpha, and
yes.
MAP.
And professionals, okay. Then 22. So you click on the coin bar, you click on tournament,
Esther, your hand
click
is
on
still
quick fire
up.
quiz. The name of the tournament is there is no link for this. You have to download the Zcrest Wealth application in order to join the tournament. And please, is anybody else having any issues?
Ifeoluwa, I think we need to start now because of time.
Oh yes, we can just start the tournament while the presentation is currently going on. It's just going to last about 5 minutes. It's going to start in few. Sorry, my service is a bit slow, so you just see that. So while everybody is currently going on with the presentation, the tournament will be going on. We'll just answer it in 5 minutes, and after that, probably at the end of the session, we can let us know who won and where everybody is. Apologies for we have about 23 people now in the tournament list.
So let me. The new Nappy Professionals, not the Nappy Professionals one. The second one, please.
So it's going to start in about it's going to start in 30 seconds. So after that, my colleague Favor can just come back in. Yes, the referral code is MAP22. Yes, so let's just have a countdown. Adedamola, your hand is up. Any questions or anything? All right, we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and good luck to everybody. Thank you for your time. Favor, please, you can come in now. In about 5 minutes, the whole tournament will be done. So we'll be done by 11:13 at the most.
Are we not supposed to wait for them to finish the tournament before I start? Or I don't. How exactly is it going to go?
In order not to waste so much time, I think we're pressed for time, but it's just going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to skip through my questions so that we can also see the countdown that is going to happen. I'm just going to be picking random questions. All right, so in about 3 minutes, 56 seconds, we should be done. Anybody else having any issues or anything? I think Adedamola is already into the tournament. Maybe that's why he hasn't dropped his hands. Anybody else? We can still join the tournament if we can finish in 30 minutes, in 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Another. Jerry Nathan, your hand is up, please. You can speak if you have a question, Jerry. Okay. All right, so any questions, please? Jerry and Adedamola, your hands are up. Is there anything that we can do for you? While this time is going on, everything Judith and Samuel have said about different investment opportunities, all of them have been encapsulated into one application, which is the ZCrossWealth application, where you can save, invest, learn, and earn. But first off, we want you to invest. Our investments, we have different investment classes and asset classes, which Favor will break down further. But in a nutshell, everything is just housed into the ZCrossWealth application. It's at what I'll call a finger throw. So it's just all you need to do is few clicks away, open your phone, log into the ZCrossWealth application, fund your wallet, and you already own an investment. As simple as short. Our investment opportunities have different amounts to start with, but they are very cheap and very, very easy to access. Some are even starting as little as 1,000 naira. You can start funding from 100 naira. It's all up to you. And the investments are all tailored, suited to your investment persona. So if you deep dive into the ZCrossWealth application, you would go through your investment persona test, which will let you know the kind of investment you are. If you're a passive, aggressive, or moderate investor, that will help you. The application automatically give you investment opportunities that are well suited to your investment persona. So if you're a moderate investor, you can have, there's some certain investments that are set for you. If you're aggressive, there are some of those investments that are also set for you. If you're passive, meaning you just want to put your money there, maybe like a month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, you come back to check to see the growth. And some investments are also set for you. So you see, all those little things are also set for every user on the ZCrossWealth application. So you see, like I mentioned earlier, where mine is reading 2,000 and something coins, those coins can be used for either Childek, Uber, or Bolt. So for every little action you take on the ZCrossWealth application, from funding, playing a tournament, even going as far as even investing, you get rewarded for it. So every action you take on the ZCrossWealth application is poised to reward you for saving and investing, or even logging in. So we have different products, different gamification models just for every user and for everybody to have fun with it. So that's what ZCrossWealth is all about, making finance easy, safe, and fun for everybody. So we have about 30 seconds left before we find who are winners are going to be our top 3 winners actually, but everybody is going to be rewarded with coins once you're done with the tournament, in which case for either Child Deck, Uber, or both. So you can have a countdown from 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's view our results. So congratulations to Uzo Igbo, that was our winner. Mary Didi is our second place, and SM Dynamite 00 is our third place. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you for your time. Thank you for participating in our financial literacy tournament. And please note, you can also do this with your friends wherever you are. This is just more or less making finance easy and gamified for everybody to understand, and finance at your fingertips or finger throat. Thank you very much, everybody. Favor, Judith.
Thank you so much, Kishi. My colleague Favor is going to be coming up next. I had introduced her earlier. She's going to be speaking through the products that we have on the Zcrest World app. I'll be sharing my screen for Favor, so that please let me know when you can see my screen. Favor, can you see my screen?
No,
Oh, I'm not
not yet.
sharing it yet. Okay, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen yet. Can you see my screen now?
It's coming up. Okay, yes. Yes, now
Okay.
I can see your screen. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. As Judith has rightly said, my name is Favor, and I work as a wealth manager at Zcrest Wealth. So I'm just going to be taking us in the last part of our presentation. So I mean, I would like us to just direct our attention to the screen. Say, what if you had a 10 million naira? Where would you invest it into? Right. So I mean, based off of everything that Samuel said and everything that Samuel has explained to us concerning MPR and inflation rate, so we just want to see how you can, I mean, apply it as an individual. So I'll just call maybe 2, 3 people to just save our time to help us answer this question. So Julie, please, next slide.
I've moved to the next slide. Can you see it, Favor?
No, I can't see it. I don't know if anybody else can.
Can anyone
because
else see
I-
my
my next
screen,
one.
please?
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
I've seen
see.
thumbs up. Okay,
Okay, so do you want to
okay, great.
call to ask anyone what they would do with 10 million in the event that they have it?
Yes,
They have to invest,
yes,
yes. So you can look through the
yes,
chat
yes.
section or
So,
just call anyone randomly.
right, just a second. Let me switch my view. Okay, Ademola Agbi, you want
Yes.
to unmute your mic and speak? Yes. So if I gave you 10 million naira now and I said, take this money and invest it, where would you invest it into? We have 4 options listed out on the screen. So, I mean, just off the top of your head, which of the investments would you be going for?
I'll rather go for asset management.
Management. Okay, why is that?
Is that what?
Why? Why did you choose that option?
Because over time, maybe through lease or renting or by other means, maybe annually or monthly, most likely I'll be getting a return.
Okay,
So,
okay, great. I'm seeing somebody's hand raised. 2 people. Hamed. Hamed. If I know. Hamad. Okay, sorry. Hamad, do you want to answer the question?
Yeah, good
Okay.
morning, everyone.
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, basically, I would like to go for asset management.
Okay, why
Where's
is
the
that?
noise coming from? Okay, basically, from your slide, you can see that the yield of asset management is actually higher annually, which is around 15 to 21% annually, compared to the yield of bank and more also that of
Okay, why not go for the
oil
30%?
exploration.
Why not go for the 30% if we're looking at yield?
For the what?
The 30% in 90 days. I mean, if you're looking at yield.
Yeah, from the lesson we had this morning, I understood that investing long term is actually more beneficial, or let me say, it's more reliable than the short term goal. So I prefer to go for a long term investment. That's why I'll be going for the asset management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Hamad.
Thank you.
Idris Olasubomi.
Okay, so yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So particularly for me, I will go for the oil and gas. So why I will actually go for the oil and gas is because, as teacher scientist, I actually see how the one thing that is key in the oil and gas business is they try to maximize profits and reduce costs, and at any point they prioritize much more on how much they are getting and how much they can help their investors. So I really believe it is a safe business in the sense that they put in a whole lot of hard work into ensuring that profit is being made. And come what may, even when there is a decrease in money being invested, I believe there are other means in which they can always suffice for it. And yes,
okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Idris. Abubakar has already spoken, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Good
let's have
morning.
Kenechukwu. Okay, Abubakar.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good morning. For me, I will go for the asset management.
Okay, why is that?
Because I believe the firms have professionals which have the knowledge and the expertise in managing investment and fund. So in that way, I feel it is the best option to go for.
Okay, thank you so much. Kenechukwu, final person.
Okay, all right. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Sorry, if I may ask, that first option, what's the name there? Is it networking or what?
I will tell you, but I want
Looks
to
like
hear
a
your
Ponzi
answer
scheme.
first.
Is it not, that's what I'm trying to okay, let's leave that. For me, I will go with the asset management. I'll go with the asset management. Yes, exactly.
Okay, why is that?
Okay, when asset with time it appreciates, and we have about 15 to 21% annually. So even with the management, even thinking outside the box, that 21% might be just, let's say, kind of Just the, will I say the
Can be
mean,
more than
the
that.
mean outlook, the minimum exactly. So with time it will even appreciate more. So I'll go with
Got
asset
it.
management.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you so much to everyone that contributed. Moving to the next slide, we will now speak to the answers. So if you had gone with the first option, as somebody has already rightly mentioned, it's actually a Ponzi scheme. Because if you remember when Samuel was speaking, he said that how do we compare, or how can we detect Ponzi schemes when they give you extraordinary rates that are not realistic based on the current market conditions, right? So if you are going with the first option, obviously you are going to lose all your money, because what they are doing is coining off of people's money to maybe take from one and give to the other, because it's not an organic way of making money. So that's not an advisable option. If you are going with option B, which is the option of a bank, while yes, of course, a lot of people say, oh, your money is more secure with a bank. There's also the part of hidden charges here and there. So maybe you put in a 100,000 naira today, by the next 3 to 4 months, you are seeing that your money is reducing. You see some charges that you don't even know where the money came from or where the charge came from, and then it just deducted out of your account, right? And you also be earning a very little interest, which is like 3 to 4%, which is also not an advisable option for you. For the fourth option, yes, it's not a bad idea for investment. However, someone said something about risk and return. So if you're investing in a high risk or in a highly risky or in a high risk investment, you're supposed to also be getting high returns. However, from that slide, you see that the returns were just 17% annually. For something that is a bit, I mean, you're taking a bit of risk, you should be making way more than that. So, I mean, and there's also the risk of it getting shut down due to different regulations or any issues that might arise, right? So it's also not particularly an advisable option. It's okay if you're a risky investor, but if you're going to invest in something with high risk, you should also be targeting higher returns than just the 17%, right? So the last option, which of course a good number of people went with, is the asset manager option, which is
Asset
where
management.
we, the
Go
fund
ahead for that.
managers, the asset management option. Yeah, thank you so much for that correction. Which is investing in a SEC licensed fund manager, or investing with a SEC licensed fund manager. So what that does for you is that the funds are secure, right? And then you're sure that you're getting your returns when you need them, right? So even if you're looking to do something short term or long term, there's always a product for you. A fund. Somebody saying something. Okay. I think somebody is unmuted. Please mute. Thank you. So as I was saying, so our advice here is to tell you that you should invest with a licensed fund manager. So what that does for you is that not only are your funds secure, but they're also professionally managed, as somebody rightly said. So I mean that's for that. So let's move to the next slide. Next slide.
Move to the next slide. Can you see my screen? Can anyone else see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm on the next slide, Favor.
Just give me a second. Let me just open it on my end. Okay, so the next slide speaks to opportunities to consider. So now that we have said all this English, invest here, invest there. So what are the opportunities to consider? Where could you consider investing your funds into? Right. So the first product here speaks to Eurobonds. So Eurobonds are basically, it's a simple way of putting it, it's a bond that is issued in the currency other than the issuer's currency. So typical example is Nigeria wants to issue a bond and they issue it in dollars. It's a euro bond. So most people, when they hear euro bond, they always assume that it's in euros, but it's actually not the case. It's just the name, right? So any bond that is issued in a currency different from the currency of the issuer is actually a Eurobond. And why countries might want to issue this. So, for instance, if we see that our external reserve, our foreign reserve is running a bit low, they might want to issue the Eurobond to basically just get more dollars into the economy. And that would help in, maintaining the currency rate and different other things that they also use those things to do, right? So why is the Eurobond investment good for you? It helps you to hedge against currency risk because, of course, the dollar is considered as a more stable currency as compared to the naira. It's also high, and you also get high yielding instruments in this particular field. So for Eurobonds, you can get as high as a 9%, 8%, and I say high because if you're looking at a 9% or 8% in dollars, that's actually a very good interest. If you're typically investing directly maybe in dollar instruments, you're probably getting like a 5% or 4% interest on your investments. But with Eurobond investments, you get as high as 9, even 10% in some situations on your investments. So this is something that you could consider. Typically, the minimum amount that you can start out with is usually $200,000 in the capital market, both in the primary and secondary market. Then you have the option of FDM bonds, right? So FDM bonds, similar to Eurobond, is just that this one is based in Naira, of course, is the FGN, is Federal Government of Nigeria. So what that means is that if you're looking to invest in a Naira bond, this is also a good long-term investment that you could do. Currently, we're expecting that rates are going to begin to drop in the market. So what that means is that, for instance, the rates that you're seeing at 23, 24% levels are going to start to drop to 19%, 18% levels. So if you're able to lock in those rates at a very good percentage, let's say 20% or 19%, pending or before the rate starts to drop, then you can, of course, enjoy that rate despite anything that happens in the economy. So this is what this type of investment helps you to do. So if you're looking to do something long term, if you're looking to invest long term, this is the perfect product for you to invest into. Speaking to the next product, treasury bills. So treasury bills are also similar to bonds, but in this case, they are short term, right? So the maximum tenure for a treasury bill investment is 1 year. You cannot see any treasury bill investment above a year. So what is also, and this is considered as the safest form of investment. Why? Because it is backed by the full state of the government, right? So worst case scenario, they will print more naira if they need to pay you back your money, right? So seeing that treasury bills are the safest form of investment, their yield and might not particularly be as high as some other investments, but they are considered as very safe and secure, right? So on a treasury bill investment, you can invest 90 days, you can invest for 180 days, you can invest for 364 days. So what that means is that whatever form of investment you're doing, and another thing that we have done as ZCRES is that typically if you're buying a treasury bill from the primary market, you need a minimum investment of 15 million naira. However, what we have done is to simplify that. On our application, you can invest in treasury bills as little as 100,000 naira, and you get your interest upfront, right? So that's something that you could also consider. So if you're looking to just put aside some money for a period of time and get your interest upfront, the treasury bill investment is perfect for you. Then for commercial papers, so commercial papers are basically debt instruments issued by blue chip companies. So what that means is that, for instance, if Dangote is looking for financing for a particular project or something that they want to do short term, they can just come into the market because it's easy for them. Just come into the market to say, oh, I need to spend so and so money. And the good thing about commercial papers is that their yields are usually quite high, depending on the company, right? Because you're taking a bit more risk, right? So it's something that a lot of people invest into. However, commercial papers is based off of availability, so it's not always available in the market, and usually always has like a short time frame, maybe a 1 week for you to do that investment. So that's something that you could also consider doing. right? You can invest most times, the minimum investment amount for commercial paper is usually 5 million, and you can get as high as a 27%, 24%, 24 to 27% implied yield on your investment. So that's also an option that you might want to consider. Another good thing that we do as Crest is that for commercial papers, when we see these things come out from time to time, we don't sell every commercial paper. We do our own analysis to say, okay, is this commercial paper viable? Before we then sell it out to our clients. So you can rest assured that whatever it is that we're selling to you, we have already done our research to be sure that this company is actually a good company, and I mean they can be trusted with your money, right? And so far, I mean for as long as I've been with Zcrest, no commercial paper that was sold has ever been. I mean they have not defaulted on any of the commercial papers that were sold. So we're not saying it's impossible, but we're saying based off of the research that we do, right? It is, I mean, we've reduced that risk to the barest minimum. So the next product I'll be speaking to is our mutual fund product. So the mutual fund product is where anybody can practically invest into. For our mutual funds, we have, I'll fix this better in another slide. We have the money market, we have the fixed income fund, and we have the dollar fund. So what this mutual fund product does for you is that, for instance, I want to invest in bonds, but I don't have 50 million naira to invest in bonds. I can put my money into a fixed income fund. Why? Because fixed income fund is a pool of investments that are then invested into things like bonds and then fixed deposit placement. So it's a way of indirectly investing into these securities that require a high capital investment, right? So we have the money market fund, which is, I mean, is considered as one of the safest types of mutual fund because they are primarily invested in treasury bills. And we have the fixed income fund. Money market fund is for short-term investment, typically, even though you can still do long-term. The fixed income fund, if you're looking for exposure to the bond space, you can put your funds into the fixed income fund. And the dollar fund, of course, if you're looking for exposure into the Eurobond space, you can put your money into the dollar fund. However, I have to mention that you need to, when you're investing into the dollar fund, you need to understand the complexities of the fund, not really complexities, but how the fund works, right? So basically, what that is telling you is that if you're not looking to do something long term, the dollar fund is not advisable for you. Long term, in terms of maybe you're looking to invest for a 2-year or 3-year period. If you're looking to do something shorter term, we would not advise you to do the dollar fund investment because it's very possible that in the short term, there might be a decline in the fund. However, in the long term, you definitely make a profit out of it. So lastly, I'll fix the fixed deposit product. So this fixed deposit product is basically just like locking your funds in a particular place for a period of time. And I typically advise this to clients that are low risk, right? So if you're not willing to take any form of risk whatsoever, you just want, okay, this money that I put here by so and so, this should be the end product of it, right? The fixed deposit placement is the place for you. So what that means is that you're putting in your money into maybe our high yield naira or high yield dollar. So there are two. We have fixed deposit for naira, and then we have fixed deposit for dollars. So if you're putting in, let's say, a 20 million naira in our fixed deposit, that's our high yield. We call it high yield naira. If you're putting a 20 million naira in, and then we say, okay, you're going to get 19% at the end of the tenor or 18% at the end of the tenor. What that means is that that's what you're going to get. Even right from doing the investment, you already see, okay, you're putting in so and so amount, this is what you're going to get at the end of the tenor, right? And same thing goes for dollars. So that's that for that. Next slide, please. So speaking to, this now speaks to the products that we have. I already mentioned most of these things, so I'll just run through it. Money market instrument is under our mutual fund category. It offers you a diversified portfolio because it's not just invested in one instrument, but it's invested in different asset classes, treasury bills, commercial paper, and fixed deposit placement. You can start out with a minimum of even just 1,000 naira. Though I typically advise my clients to do around like 500,000, just so that the interest that you're earning on it is going to be possible, right? So currently our money market is yielding about 20% as at today, and that percentage is net. So it's important for me to mention that it is net, so that you understand that it is net of all fees. So when we say you're getting let's say 20.3 or 20.8%, that's actually what you're going to get at the end of the tenor, or at the end of, or on a daily basis. So another good thing about this money market fund is that you see your interest grow on a daily basis on the app, and the interest is typically paid quarterly into your account, and you can choose to either invest it so that your interest compounds, or you can choose to withdraw the fund. Maybe you want to use it for something that's up to you to decide. So it's also, like I said, it's for short-term investment. So you have a minimum holding period of just 30 days. So it's very easy for you to invest into it. So if you're looking for something that, maybe you have just some idle funds that you might need in the nearest future, but you just want to put it somewhere, you can put it into the money market fund and be earning interest on that. Then we have a fixed income fund, which, like I said, it is for clients that are looking for exposure into the bond space, that's the Naira bond space. So you can invest some money from as little as 1,000 Naira also into the fixed income fund. But like I said, for the dollar fund, I would not advise you to do this if you are not doing a long-term investment. But if you're looking to do something long-term, you can definitely do the fixed income fund investment. It has a minimum holding period of 90 days because it's more of a longer-term investment. And yes, same thing applies to the dollar fund. Dollar fund, you can start investing it as little as $100, and it has a minimum holding period of 90 days also. So that's that for that. From the for cash management solutions, this is what we basically sell these solutions to companies, right? So if, for instance, they have some money that they want to use for a particular project and that they're not going to need for a while, they can place this money with us and earn some interest on it pending when they need it. So you have a very short, usually for very short investments, like 2 weeks, the minimum holding period, the minimum subscription period for this is 14 days actually. So it can be more, I mean, depending on the need of the company that is doing this investment. Next slide, please. Okay, so speaking to the fixed deposit instruments, so we have the high yield Naira, which I already spoke about before. You can start out with as little as 1 million Naira, and you can get up to 19% interest on your investment. Then we also have the high yield dollar, with a minimum of $10,000. You can get up to 8.5, 9%, depending on the amount that you put in. So for these types of investments, the interest that you get is determined by how much you're putting in and how long you're putting in the funds for. So those are the two things that determine what you get. Then I've also spoken to commercial papers. So what we do is, when we have commercial paper come out from time to time, we always send email to our client to say, we have so commercial paper available now. Are you interested in buying into it? And I mean, of course, if you're interested in doing something like that, you can definitely buy into it. Then lastly, treasury bill investment. So you can always do a treasury bill investment either via our app or by buying it directly through the secondary market. So how you can do this is to reach out to your wealth manager to say, oh, I have so and so money to invest, and I want to invest this money into the treasury bill space. So currently in the treasury bill market, you can get as high, you can get up to even a 22.3% implied yield on your investment, depending on the tenor that you're looking to invest into. Next slide, please. Okay, so this part just talks about stocks. So I know that Samuel already covered this, speaking to various stocks and how that a lot of stocks, especially in the US, are currently trading at a low price. So now would be a good time for you to buy into it if that's something you're looking to do. And even in Nigeria also, there are opportunities that you could look into. And this is something that is offered by our subsidiary Zcrest Securities, where you can purchase stocks and even sell your stock I mean, other services that we also offer is if you're looking to maybe consolidate your shares, because I've had clients say, oh, I used to have some shares sometimes in the past. I don't remember which shares I have. We can always do a global search for you to say, okay, what shares are under this person's name? And we can bring everything together under one position so you can be able to manage your portfolio in one place. Right. So that's also a service that we offer that you could look into exploring. I don't know if we can, next slide please. I don't know if we can quickly just run through these because of time. Okay, so let me just pick, okay, let me just have one person. So I want you to just, if you're an investor currently, or if you've started investing, I want you to share a personal story of how you started investing, your first investment mistake or win, and how your knowledge helped with investing, right? So
Okay,
sorry
about that.
Okay.
Because of the time, can we just have people put that in the chat box, more like a summary of that, please?
Okay,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
I
you can go
forgot
ahead
that
and
we wanted
just put it,
to,
so we will have more people put their experiences in there.
yeah. So if you can just, I mean, answer those questions in the chat box, and we'll be happy to read it. So the next slide, please. The next slide just speaks to, well, I mean, of course, the call to action. So after all this English that was spoken, what do we want you to do, right? So of course, start today. You can start out with a very small amount. I know a lot of people, they're always of the opinion that it's rich people that invest, but that's the fallacy, right? You can always invest from whatever amount that you are earning. You can definitely do that. I spoke about how that you can easily invest it as little as even a 1,000 naira. So wherever you are at, you can start from there. Another advice we give to you is to talk to a financial advisor, which is where we as Zecrest come in. We'll be sharing our contact details or how you can reach out to us in the coming slides. Then also join a community of financially literate professionals. This is something that you can find anywhere, even on LinkedIn. And then there's something that we usually do at Zecrest. We have this digital wealth club, whereby I think it's on a quarterly basis. We have sessions where we basically just talk to you about the current happenings in the market. So that's something that you could also join from time to time, just to keep yourself up to date on everything financial literacy. Right, and of course, the final code says that your salary is your seed, don't eat it all. So yes, I know you want to enjoy, you want to flex, but of course, it's always important for you to also put aside, like Samuel mentioned, a percentage of your salary, maybe 20% or 30% of your salary, to just invest towards your future, or invest towards a particular goal that you have. So that would be all from my end. Thank you so much for your time. Please, now is the time for questions. You can just run through that.
Okay, thank you so much, Favor. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to be saying the questions here. We're just going to be entertaining the first 5 questions because of our time. And we have a question here. Omale Daniel, can you direct the question? Who are you directing the questions? Are you directing it to Judith, Samuel, or Favor? That's why I said earlier that if you have a question for any of the speakers, just direct it. So is it possible for you to type in the chat box who you are directing this question to, sir? Okay, so Daniel is asking, I don't know who is asking, maybe any of you could just answer the question. He said, so I haven't invested yet, but I'm looking to start a safe and reliable one. Maybe buy, okay, I don't think this is a question. I don't think this is a question. But if you have any question, please, can we just drop it on the chat box? If you have any questions for either Judith, Samuel, or Favor, please kindly drop it on the chat box. Okay, in the absence of that, I think I will just have to hand over to my publicity secretary for some announcements. Then we go to the Okay, Samuel is asking a question. For Favor, what's the minimum time for short-time investment for mutual fund? Favor, you have a question directed to you, ma. What's the minimum time?
Thank you,
Okay.
Samuel. Yes, so the minimum time for a money market investment is 30 days. For the dollar fund, it is 90 days. For the dollar fund and fixed income fund, it's 90 days. For 30 days for the money market fund. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you very much. Duke Campbell is asking, how can I get an investment advisor? Would Judith want to answer this question?
So we at Zecrest Wealth, thank you so much. So at Zecrest Wealth, we are your wealth advisors, we're your investment advisors, and we'll be sharing the slides. You'll find the contact details to which you can reach any one of us. We'll also share our group email. So if you send an email to that, then we would, I think, Osaze, you can put that in the chat section so that we can have people reach out when they want to. But we're going to be sharing the slides to the organizers of this event, and then you find our contact details at the last part of the slides. But we are your investment advisors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Judith. We still have, we have another question here from Samuel. Can I also be updating the investment? I think is a question attached to his first question directed to Favor.
Yes,
Can I
yes, you
also be
can.
updating?
So,
Okay.
yes, you can. So the money market fund is such that you can do a top up as you have started your investment. So even if you start off with an initial investment of say 5,000 naira, and I know Favor has just explained that there's a minimum holding period of 30 days, you can do a top up to that investment, because with the money market fund, you are able to monitor your interest as it accrues on a daily basis, which is why we have introduced you to the Zecrest Wealth app as your digital wealth tool. You are able to see your investment as it grows daily because you have access to what is happening real time on your investment. So you can start off with 5,000, and then you see that in 2 days' time, interest has accrued on that 5,000. You can then decide to do a top up to try to see how much more you can garner in terms of interest to the investment. So yes, you can do a top up as daily or monthly as possible. I also have from Chijoke, I've not really had so much confidence in the NSE stocks. One of the major reasons is unreliable dividends and insincerity of most companies. Another is there's no platform to personally monitor your assets. Are these taken care of with your group? Yes. So if you reach out to us, we would also have to introduce you to our equity trader. We were hoping that he'll be on the call, so he would have taken this part of your question, but just reach out to us and then we'll introduce you to our colleagues at Zecrest Securities. They'll be able to respond to any of your stock or stock related questions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we
can
have
I be
last
taking the
question.
questions?
Okay, that's fine.
There's a Sasuyi. He says, what is your ROI on your commercial paper product? So, like I think Favor tried to clarify that commercial papers are like the way for just like we have the sovereign bonds, Nigerian bonds, we have commercial papers are for corporates. So it depends on what the corporate is issuing at the time. So the return on the investment is totally determined by, number one, the amount that the company wants to issue for that particular series, and the viability of the company in itself. So this is going to be it's not a one size fits all response. It's going to be a case by case response in terms of what commercial paper you are investing in. Then the discussion around the ROI can be had. So for this question, when you reach out to us and we have a viable commercial paper on sale at the time, we can then have this conversation proper. Coyote says, which asset class can be considered as a safe haven for now? Are stocks better than commodities? What's your take on BTC as a safe haven? I think I have Samuel answered to the part of BTC, but in terms of asset class, we've clearly stated how the money market fund is one of the most minimum risk. You have the most minimum risk in terms of investments for the money market funds. Stocks being better than commodities. It just depends on your preference. What are your like Kishi had said, when you come on our app, we have like an opportunity for you to be able to take out a test on what your investment appetite is. So by the time you do that test, we'll then know where you are at, if you're a passive aggressive investor and the likes, and that could give answer to your question on this. I don't know if Samuel is still here to be able to talk about Bitcoin, but it's not something that we sell as a product, but maybe just to give an insight into that. Samuel? Okay, if he's not here,
Yes,
then you
I'm
probably
here,
have
I'm
to.
here.
Okay,
So,
please.
Okay. So yeah, so which asset class can be considered as a safe haven for now? Stocks better than commodities. I would say that. And my take on Bitcoin is, I mean, we don't deal with Bitcoin in Zcrest, but personally, my take on Bitcoin is that I would advise that, especially for long-term investors, you would typically try to stay on assets that generate income. So when I say generate income, I mean actual things like stocks and fixed income assets, because actually sometimes some stocks pay you dividends and they appreciate in capital. They might decide to pay you dividends over time. And same thing for fixed income that has interest rates on them. For Bitcoin, it's highly speculative. People try to regard it as a safe haven asset, as a store of value. But my argument is, how can something that's supposed to be a store of value be so volatile? It's more volatile than even the currency that you hold. It can jump up 100% in 3 months, and it can lose, if it was possible, 200% in 2 days. So it's highly volatile, and I would advise to stay clear of that, especially for a long-term perspective, because you want to stick to assets that actually generate cash flow, can give you intent, and can give you income and can appreciate over time. I hope that answers your question, Kennedy.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you so much,
much.
Samuel.
Okay, thank you very much, Judith. Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you, Favor. That was a wonderful session from Zcrest and the question and answer. In fact, one thing I'm going to be taking home now is that from Samuel is that Bitcoin is very volatile. So don't cast all your eggs in Bitcoin if you don't want to cry later. Okay, so I'm just going to be handing over to our lead, Sheo, to just do a vote of thanks. Then we have our PS to do the announcement. Over to you, Sheo. Hello, Sheo.
Yeah, can
Hello,
you hear me?
Sheo. Okay. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Daniel. I want to say a big thank you to the team at Zcrest. Thank you so much for this enlightening conversation around managing our funds and creating wealth for ourselves. I mean, Judith Opara, thank you so much for that, for this coordination. And then to the other speakers that have spoken to us today, to Samuel, to Kishi, to Favor, thank you so much for all the coordination and the enlightenment that you have shared with us today. I know there are several things that we would have to take back. Aside from being a technical association, there are other aspects of our lives that we also have to start putting serious attention to. Finance is also one of them. And then you've also shared several lights to that. I mean, Samuel's presentation also gave several breakdowns to it about our core principle of investing, how we need to start early, and then, I mean, particularly avoiding Ponzi scheme. I don't know. I mean, time is really fast spent, but I think one of the things I would want to ask is, I know that for several of these Ponzi schemes, there's always the notion that they've been registered. Maybe if it's something you could quickly touch light on, maybe in 10 seconds, what exactly are those things that we should look out for? I know you've mentioned a lot about being SEC registered, but somehow we get the sense that some of these schemes have been registered. I mean, if that can come up later on. But again, aside from the presenters, I want to say a big thank you to a lot of people that are joining this conversation. I know we've gone a bit ahead of our time, we've stretched a bit, but thank you. I hope the time that you've spent today has been worth it. And to all the team, the organizing team, from the executives to the team that has put this together. I want to say thank you from ourselves at Napier YP and also from the team at ZCrest as well. Thank you so much for this beautiful presentation and session. Yeah, so that'll be it from me.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, just to answer the question on the Ponzi scheme. Quick 10 seconds. So other than SEC license, you can also ask them how they make money, right? Anybody that you ask how, like we can tell you if you give us money to place in fixed deposits, we'll probably find placements or invest in treasury bills. Like those are the assets that we typically play with: treasury bills, bonds, stocks. Ponzi schemes, they will typically try to be evasive with their language, so they might not really tell you what they're investing. They'll say we'll put it, but they're not actually telling you what they're investing in. Just now, they're not actually investing in anything. It's more of a borrow and pay, borrow and pay, borrow and pay till there's no money again.
Thanks a lot, Samuel, for that clarification. Again, I mean, thank you to the team. I know not everyone had spoken, but several of you have also been responding in the chat box. Thank you so much for this great session, and send me well to your management. And we really appreciate this. We'll continue the conversation. Abioye, over to you.
Right. Thank you very much. Please confirm you can see my screen. Can we see my screen, please? Hello. Hello, can you? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, thank you once again, ZCrest, and it's a success already. I just went through WhatsApp now, and I saw someone's status, and I was just smiling, and it says, "Us reading, are you living in the city of Lagos and need to generate free coin to pay your in-state transport fare and then check ZCrest app. So follow the link below and all that." So I think the referrals is already going on and all that. So yeah, so thank you once again. Thank you very much. A lot has been said, a lot has been learned, new information, and I think all this will save us from Adino. Yeah, so my name is Abioye, and here you have on the screen, these are the Napier YP ESCOs from Sheung, which you just heard his voice, and to Daniel, which was the moderator. We have Betel Akuche, which is our deputy lead, Olaiton, our welfare and event manager. Then we have Abel, our general secretary, and Uche Ohali, the provost. So for June, we can expect a technical series program like this again. So then last 2 months we had our World Geologist Day at Lufasi, which was indeed a fun time for us and also a time to learn and bond. So just to juggle our memory and bring those things back a bit. Yeah, so yeah.
Be like that.
Yes, so
I think your type or be like.
Yeah, so just to juggle our memory, like I said. So then yeah.
Don't keep on drawing. So why? Because we make things of that thing. They are also no, see. No, see. Love in a job. So you are participating with the guy on the video for Lucas part apart from the title. Okay, like. Okay, so the response to my song is on it. Okay, yeah, whatever I'm gonna be saying, just say on it.
Yeah, so I'm sure we can still remember that very well. So like I said, this is one of the events we have. Today we had financial literacy series, and the other day we're outside, just learning about nature and and having fun. So it's not all technical every time. So the look ahead. So we know that last month these flyers were released, mentoring cycle. So we want to announce that they are now closed, both the enrollment for mentees and the enrollment for mentors are now closed. So then NAPI Distinguished Award date has been extended to June 8th. So if you have not voted, you have not submitted your nominees, so you can still do that right now before June 8th. So we have the link on the flyer, and you can also find this on our groups or on our platform on the website. So last month we had static model QC, tips for best practice, and great response, great learning. So we still have the recordings on our YouTube platform. If you don't have access to it yet, you can just check in there. It's there now. So, and if you're part of the quiz winner, of course, you celebrated and everybody already got their prize. So thank you for that. Thank you for participating. So this next weekend, which is on Saturday, 31st of May, 2025, we're having our mentor social hangout in Lagos. And our mentor for that day is Mr. Biodun Adesonya FNAPI. He's a managing director, consultant at GG Connect Nigeria Limited. So please, you can contact Olaiton Kobio 4, if you are interested to attend. And mind you, we can only let in 15 NAPI YP registrants. NAPI YP. So you can start messaging her now and start syncing in on time before the list gets filled up. So then for May Technical Series, Worry chapter, this coming Tuesday, we have the depositional system of the Niger Delta, implications for reservoir characterization and hydrocarbon distribution. So if you're in Worry, you can attend at University Auditorium, that's FUPRI, or join online if you're not in Worry. Then for North American chapter also, we have extending the frontier of deep water exploration. So the beauty of all this thing is that you don't even have to be in North America physically. You can join online. So we have the link there. So you can always join in, learn, ask questions, and, and grow. Yeah, so, NAPI is celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. So, and the theme for this year is pioneering the future of energy in Africa. So, and this will be having a ceremonial on Thursday, 14th of August, 2025 at Eco Hotel and Suites. So if you are, I don't think anyone should be seeing this for the first time though, but if you are not, so this is it. We're at 50. And I think we celebrate that we're at 50. So the aim for that day, we've seen the team, the aim is to honor NAPI legacy, spotlight the impact of Nigeria professionals in the energy sector and chart a visionary course for its future. So 50 years, we've come a long way. So now we're looking ahead to another 50. So key highlights for that day, you can just read within lines, a presentation and panel discussion, then Golden Jubilee Gala Night and recognition. That was awesome. The NAPI Legacy documentary and historical timeline. So there are a lot of things you don't know about NAPI. You get to hear them from the founders. People that have the membership ID 001, 002, 030 to like 020. You get to hear from them, meet them, and all that. So then we'll have a commemorative magazine featuring retrospectives and visionary insights. So I want us to look ahead and let's plan for this day. So now, our due, membership due, student members, 2,000 naira, active members, just 12,000 naira, associates, 12,000 naira, corporate member, 50,000 naira. So if you have not, so please kindly upgrade your membership. If you are no more a student, then update your membership if you have not paid. So then just to bring to our I met with the registration officer, I think about last week. He lost his phone. So you have been trying to reach him and he's not reachable. You can do well to send an email to him at mayowa@napi.org.ng. Yeah, so please let's update our payments. And if you are not following us yet on all social platforms, please do that now, like right now. So you can be in sync with every information, every activity, and everything we're doing. So let's grow the community together. So Daniel, I see you raised your hands. So I think I'm done here. Thank you very much once again.
Yes, I just wanted to chip in concerning the membership that if you are still yet to transit, if you are due to be an active member, please try your possible best to reach out to Mayowa. You can't be out of school and still be a student. You can't be almost done with NYC or done with NYC and still be a student member. So try your possible best to reach out to Mayowa. Transition into an active member. For actually, most of you guys here should be an active member and also pay your dues. That's when you can call yourself a member, a financial worthy member. Thank you very much. I think that's all. Yeah, okay. That's all for my answer.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Daniel. I think that's all been said. So we've come to the end of today's beautiful session. Thank you very much, Zed and Zcrest Wealth specifically. Thank you very much, Okpara, Judith. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.